from Lodi and Stockton, California, these two towns in the Central Valley of California. Yeah, home is definitely like where my family is. I go to university now, which is about 2 hours from my hometown. I think a lot about my parents and just the way that they've raised me to keep working harder and really emphasize like your work ethic. You're gonna face some no's. Those are necessary along the way, but what really matters is how you react to that and keep going. When I started having conversations with my high school, it was a little tough to get anything going just because when it came down to conversations with the board, it was really hard to find anyone who was interested. So up to this point, we still haven't convinced Lodi Unified to switch to clean renewable energy. I'm still in close contact with the high schoolers working at that level, and we're still having weekly discussions of just continuing that effort to really make sure that more people are aware of it and know how to get involved. So I just wanted to learn more about climate change overall. It was a few days just on Zoom, and I just found it extremely interesting. I ended up getting connected with a network of other people who were really interested in climate change, and that's ultimately how I found the Green Schools campaign. It was really centered on youth leadership and just really seeing how much we could build the student power in other school districts, and it is happening slowly but surely. It happened with the Long Beach Green Schools campaign, which just last year convinced their school district to transition. Because I also find that, especially in high school and in grades earlier than that, a lot of students aren't really aware that there are these avenues and they have like this power to get involved. I think that it can just be really powerful to know that there is something you can do.
I think I very first met Ava probably during a demonstration that we were putting on. I organized with a group called the Coalition for True School Sustainability here on campus. We put on a demonstration to protest the use of fossil fuel money in research in the new school sustainability here at Stanford. And I know Ava was involved with sort of divestment campaigns on campus from fossil fuel money. Seeing Ava there and then like seeing photos later on too. And then realizing that we were overlapping in quite a lot of different ways in different organizing circles, as well as, you know, myself as an instructor. These undergrads and these young people are just so inspiring and willing to say what needs to be said to these huge behemoth kind of institutions that have so much power in the world and have had so much power in the world. Folks in Ava's generation not only, again, have this responsibility as everyone else does, but are uniquely poised as young people to really shape the institutions that we live in. We have to do something. There is no other choice. Younger folks that are coming up now into the world as quote-unquote adults, for better or for worse, are thrown into the world that folks before them have created. And so we all have this collective responsibility to do something about that if we genuinely and seriously care about everyone that's in the world. I just want to like give her a big hug, you know, because it just makes me so happy to see someone doing amazing work like this. And being such a good person through it all. Ava was always asking amazing questions, bringing the topic of conversation to a very personal place, and willing to show vulnerability as well. It's hard enough to be able to kind of stand up for what is right, but then even harder in some ways to step back. So I think that sense of humility and yet also owning the power that she has is wonderful and beautiful about the way that Ava leads.
I started learning more about the Central Valley specifically and how a lot of people there have been influenced by climate injustices and just climate change in general. Children born in the Central Valley are much, much more likely to be born with asthma, especially children of color. I've grown up with asthma, and I never thought of how that could be influenced just by where I was born and where I've grown up.
Life and death and love and birth and peace and war on the planet Earth. Is there anything that's worth?
Yeah, music has been just a huge part of my life. I think ever since I was little, before I can remember. I just grew up around my parents, playing the radio. And I would also say that like music has been a huge part of like my family, especially in, celebrations before I can even really remember. We would just be blasting sometimes like mariachi music. Yeah, getting to even take that onto a campus like Stanford and get involved in Mariachi Cardinal was so fun. Yeah, I love music, and I'm so happy to get to play it and rejoice in it with other people.